guys, welcome to Anything and Nothing, episode 4. This is Tamara.
And Michelle.
And we're super excited to have you guys join us tonight. Before we jump into TV chat, we're going to talk about this lovely and lethal drink that Michelle made tonight.
Tonight's drink is a Tennessee Mule. I had some I had an unopened bottle of Jack Daniels.
Whoever has that.
And a Tennessee Mule the base is Jack Daniels. So let's see.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
You put a lot of shots in it.
I know, right?
Cheers.
Cheers.
You're supposed to look me in my face so we don't have like 7 years of bad sex.
Oh my God.
Not with each other, obviously. You've never heard that before.
No.
It's interesting. Not gonna say it's my favorite.
No.
It's like,
But I'm surprised.
yeah.
It's
I'm also
not what I was
not-
thinking.
I'm also not a huge ginger beer fan, so I probably am not the best critic on this one.
Yeah.
But I will drink it because it has lots of alcohol, and I don't like to ever waste alcohol.
Yeah. Do you taste the alcohol?
No.
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I do either.
This is probably gonna be like a bourbon smash.
Yeah, we definitely poured plenty in it.
You did 3.5 shots, so. All right, well, let's jump into TV chat. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Firefly Lane, which is a Netflix show. It premiered a couple of weeks ago, 1 season, but pretty great. And we felt like we should talk about it because it wasn't reality, spice things up a little bit. And then, of course, Married at First Sight. So, Michelle, do you want to kick things off with Firefly Lane?
Yes. So Firefly Lane is a Netflix show, one of those feel-good shows. So if you're looking for like a feel-good, like Friends, it's about 2 friends.
Yeah.
Something that's not killing, murder, like robberies.
But I still thought
I feel like that's all the stuff that we watch nowadays. This is it's a very nice.
But there's
PG,
still some drama in it, and I felt like it was binge-worthy because I watched it.
No, yeah,
in a
I'm
day.
just saying that it's a good show.
Yes.
That's like, if you're looking for something that's not crazy, this is a good show to watch.
And I thought I would not be into it at all because I was like, what are...
Same.
Yeah.
I actually watched the first episode and I stopped.
Same.
And then I went back to it and I was like, oh, okay. By episode 2 and 3, I was like, oh, okay.
Good storyline.
Finished it.
Twist and stuff.
Yeah. The show actually is based off of a book by Kristen Hanna. And I just found that out. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
And the storyline is about Kate and Tully. Kate is the quiet friend, kind
Big
of
glasses.
Yeah, kind of the nerd of school. Then Tully is the rebelling, wild child, popular kid that everybody likes.
Yeah, her mom was a hippie.
Her mom was a hippie and did drugs. Kate's parents were still married. Had her brother.
Who was gay.
Actually, yeah, the brother ended up being
but
gay.
It was secret gay because it was also set in the 70s.
Yeah.
It was a cool show because it went from them meeting each other when they were teenagers, like I think like 9th or 10th grade, and that was in the 70s. And then it went to the 80s where they were adults and working, and then in the 90s when they were older.
Yeah. And work. Yeah. So they mentioned that actually in our recap article I was reading. It's a lot like This Is Us, where it just keeps flashing back to different parts. But the thing about Firefly Lane is that when it flashes back, it's not in order.
Yeah.
So it could flash back to when they were working, or it could flash back to when they were kids. The flashback is usually based on whatever's going on in the storyline. So spoiler alert, but not even really a spoiler alert, because the whole thing about the show, you go through the entire show thinking that someone died. You kind of think that it's Tully because Tully's missing in one of the flash forwards, because they flash forward as well. Come to find out, they're just mad at Tully. Series ends with Tully and Kate not being friends.
And they were the best of friends.
Yes.
Like ride or die, like best of friends.
Yes. But Tully could be selfish sometimes with her friendship.
She was super selfish.
And in the things that she did nice for Kate, sometimes that was ended up being selfish. Like, for example, she mentioned her brother being gay. Like, she knew that her brother was gay, but she decided that she didn't need to know that, so she didn't tell her.
But the brother also asked her not to tell.
No, but she knew before the brother asked her not to tell. Like, she didn't see. So the reason Tully knew that the brother was gay is because she saw them kissing.
Yeah.
But she didn't have the conversation with the brother until, like, after that. Like, why didn't she tell Kate then?
But if I saw your brother kissing a guy, I don't know if I would mention it to you. Because I feel like that's something that people coming out, it's their story to tell, not mine. No matter how close we are.
So I'm going to say you are saying that as a person in 2021.
Yeah.
In 1974,
Yeah.
you wouldn't tell me that my brother kissed a boy and you were a child? Like, you're also talking as an adult. Like, as a 14-year-old,
Probably
you
gossiping,
saw
like,
my
yeah.
12-year-old brother kissing a boy.
He wasn't 12. He was like
he
16.
older?
He was like
Oh,
16
he was
or
an older
17.
brother.
Yeah.
Either way, my brother was kissing a boy and you wouldn't tell? Come on.
I don't know. I it's hard for me to think what 16-year-old, 15-year-old Tamara would have done, but yeah. I know it's not my story to tell,
Yeah.
but okay.
Okay, well, I would have said something.
Yeah. But yeah, at the bottom line, Tully was very selfish.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that had to do with her upbringing. And
Yes.
she did not have a very stable mom. She lived with her grandma for a while because her mom was like a hippie and would kind of just like be all over the place. And the grandma was like, let me take her. And then the mom, when Tully was about like 14 or 15, was like, I'm going to take her.
And just took her.
And just took her. Picks her up in this like
Moved
little...
next door to Kate.
Yes, in
Just
this
how that
Volkswagen little van. And she was still just like not the best mom. And so I just feel like Tully had a lot of barriers up, and Kate was that person that really was able to like break in. But I think Tully also just, no matter how deep her and Kate's relationship was, I think Tully had like a tough exterior and knew that like nobody could get really deep in. Like she could never be 100% vulnerable with anybody. Even like Tully ends up meeting like, she never has like long-term relationships with men.
You don't
either.
think she was 100% vulnerable with Kate?
I think that she was, but like I think that there was still like parts where like she wasn't, or maybe that was the only person.
I thought
that was the most vulnerable
the only
she could
person
be.
that she was that close with.
I think that was the only person that she could be vulnerable with, but I don't know. Man, I guess she did tell Kate everything.
Everything.
She couldn't be vulnerable with men.
She could not be vulnerable with men.
Even though she met like this really great guy and he
but
was so into her.
She was raped.
Yeah.
And was that her virginity? I think that was.
It might have been, because everybody assumed that she was like this fast girl because she was new.
So her first experience with a man was being raped, or with sex was being raped.
Yeah.
So
you think that kind of set the...
I mean, that would set a tone.
Yeah.
Like, why would you trust men at that point?
Yeah.
I don't see why she wouldn't. Now, the thing that I did find interesting about what I read about the book and versus the show, the book gave reference to what actually happened. So they did say that don't really go by the book though, because there are things that didn't happen in the book but happened on the show. In the book, Tully, so Kate and Kate's husband and Tully had a
they hooked up earlier.
They hooked up before they were married. Kate was married, so
yeah. They all kind of worked at this news station, and the husband was like, I think, a producer, and Tully bought Kate in. And Kate immediately, when she saw this guy, was like in love, like those little like Bugs Bunny eyes. Is it Bugs Bunny is the reference? Like the eyes that just go.
Yes, that is Bugs Bunny.
Yes. I don't watch cartoons, but like I was like, I think that's right.
That is Bugs Bunny.
So she was always in love with him, but because she was just such a punk
Googly
and like
eyes.
googly eyes, but she was really scared to say anything. So she was kind of just always pawning over him, but never.
And he also seemed like he was into Tully before.
But Tully was the fun girl that was just like, do anything, have fun, fuck it. And Kate was not that girl at all. But Kate ends up with him.
Yes. Him and Kate end up getting married and splitting up, but still kind of rekindling. So at the end of the series, at the end of the season anyway, they're not really, I don't think they're officially divorced.
No, well,
They're still just separated.
I think that they signed divorce papers though, because I think
Oh,
she
that's right.
realized
He did do divorce papers.
I think they went through that phase of like, well,
But
maybe
they had sex before he left.
they did. I think
Yeah.
to like to seal the deal of, is this worth it,
But
or do I want to stick this out?
Yeah, but after he left, she was like, she still loves him. So
Yeah.
that's open ended. But anyway, so the book states that they have 3 children. On the show is only 1. In the book, he does not go to Iraq. In the show, he ends up going to Iraq to be like a reporter for like the war or something, and he's very active. Like, why was he even?
I don't understand. Then how did the book? Because the whole reason why Kate and his relationship didn't work is because he was so invested.
So in the
in
book,
work.
they didn't divorce.
Oh, so they just had a happy marriage?
They weren't happy, but they didn't divorce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was no divorce.
Okay.
Also, in the book, where we kind of left off with being confused as far as why Kate was mad at Tully, there was, Kate ends up, Tully ends up having a show on her own, and the husband's still producing it.
Yep. That's the same on the show.
No, he was producing the new show.
Oh, because he went to Iraq, so he had to leave. Okay.
So he's producing a new show. Kate comes on with her daughter, thinking that it's about them because on the show, her and her daughter are typical mom and daughter.
Her daughter's like
in
14
high
years
school.
old. It's like, Mom, you're not so cool anymore.
Yeah, it's not a big deal in the show, but on the book it was really tumultuous, and they were brought on the show, and she surprised them with a psychologist and tried to fix them and called her like the overbearing mom and the rebellious child, and they were
but that doesn't surprise me because in the show, remember the daughter, so like Tully's obviously like Kate's best friend, so she's also the godmother to Kate's daughter,
right?
And so Tully is the cool kind of like aunt, godmother, and so the daughter had not had sex yet, but she wanted to get on birth control, but when you're under a certain age, like you need a parent's signature, somebody over 18. And so she got Tully to sign for her on the show, and then Kate finds out, and she's like really pissed. She eventually gets
first
over
example of Tully crossing a line that she shouldn't have.
Yeah, that was inappropriate.
Yeah,
that was inappropriate.
But yeah, so they said that's why in the book they stopped talking after that show.
I don't know if I would have stopped talking to I guess it is kind of embarrassed. I don't know if it's embarrassing.
I think that they were embarrassed. I think it sounded like they were embarrassed, and
what
it
was a live show. What was bringing her on the show for?
Not to prepare. I guess it was just about a mother-daughter relationship. Like, I think they thought. I don't know the book. Like I said, I didn't read the book. But
I'm not reading books.
Right.
I'm not reading books.
Yeah, the article just said that it was them on the show.
Okay.
And they thought it was just them talking about, mother-daughter relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like I said, teenage moms and their daughter sometimes don't get along or agree on what they should be doing or wearing or whatever. That's normal. But not to call her overbearing and have a psychologist come in to kind of make them both look bad. And I think that's what happened in the book.
Right.
And Kate died in the book.
Oh, old in life or young in life?
Young.
Oh.
I guess they weren't talking, I think, for some years.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and then she got cancer. I think it was breast cancer. And Tully was off working somewhere out of the country and ended up coming back and nursing her or whatever.
Yeah, that's so tough because I was surprised because I feel like if you're able to get through teenage years, your 20s, your 30s, and now you're in your 40s, I would think that like there's nothing that can like break your bond as friends. Like you've been friends for like more time than you've been living, like and so that breaks my heart. That's really sad.
Yeah, well, they made up.
Well, that's when Kate's about to die.
Yeah, they made up at that point, and then I think in a letter
isn't that bad now.
Once again, I sold her.
It's just blending together. I'm like, it just tastes like seltzer water. Are we gonna wrap up Firefly so we can get to Married at First Sight?
Yeah, basically. Oh, they ended up ending the book. That that book anyway ended with her writing a letter telling her that Tully and her husband should get together now. Yeah. So
Did Tully end up having the baby?
in the book, Tully wasn't even that never happened. Like the whole guy and stuff, none of that happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see like what happens with that.
Yeah.
So I hope he comes back in her life.
I hope so too. I liked him. Oh yeah, Tully had a young thing.
But he was cute. He was from, if you guys ever seen like Queen of the South, he was
Oh
on that.
yeah, that's where I knew him from.
Very cute.
I did like
It's like that brown hair and like these like pretty green eyes.
Yeah, he was cute.
I liked him. I think he's Brazilian. Anyways, I thought it was a great feel-good show on Netflix that I was not gonna watch, but I'm glad that like I talked to you.
And we left out a lot, obviously. It's so many moving parts.
It's worth watching. It's worth
definitely
watching.
check it out if you haven't. Like I said, we didn't really spoil anything because we still don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's a great show because
it
it's
ends
about
off
friendship.
with-
It's about friendship
It is.
and the ups and downs of friendship, and I think everybody can relate to it. So yeah,
Yep.
cool. I would rate it like an 8, but I'm also like everything. So